Hello flute friend, and welcome to my music studio. My name is Monica Bailey, and I have prepared a fun lesson for you today to answer every beginner flutist's question. How do I assemble my flute, and where do I place my fingers? This will be a great reward for you after studying my free 6-part series on the art of tone, getting started on the head joint. You must be eager to add on your flute's body and tail. Since the printed press, we have inherited a huge number of flute fingering charts from excellent sources. One kind even shows you a photo of the flute with lines drawn to connect your fingers to the buttons. Still, there is nothing quite like being shown where to place the fingers than by an actual human being. So stay with me as I show you how to assemble your flute and show you where to place your fingers. Once you know where to place your fingers, you will be able to understand how to read any fingering chart out there. Before you open your flute case, take the first step of making sure it is right side up. The manufacturer often helps you by writing the model name on the top. Once you open your case, you will see 3 pieces nestled in felt. The head joint, which has no buttons but a mouthpiece and a tone hole. The body, which is the longest piece and has the most buttons. And the tail or end joint, which is the shortest piece with just a few buttons. You'll notice that I have put stickers on some of the buttons. Feel free to copy this idea as it may help you to remember where to put your fingers. I like these little tiny fish stickers because the striped fish fits perfectly where your left thumb is going to go. And the turtle fits perfectly where your right pinky is going to go. But you can use any stickers you like. They will come off easily like training wheels when you don't need them anymore. Before you pick up the pieces, please make a habit of holding on to the flute at the ends where there are no buttons. The tube we blow through is made from strong metal, but the mechanisms are delicate. You may need to apply a fair bit of pressure when putting the flute together. Holding on to the ends will prevent the accidental bending of mechanisms. Start a good habit today of picking up the pieces where there are no buttons. Ready for assembly? Pick up the body with your right hand and the tail joint with your left hand. Gently twist the pieces together. Now find the long rod on the body that is closest to the buttons and make sure that it is pointing to the middle of that little tiny button which I put a turtle sticker on. This is too far one way and this is too far the other way. You want the long rod to be pointing to the middle of that tiny key. Now transfer the body to your left hand and gently put the head joint into the body. Once you've attached the pieces, make sure that the tone hole lines up with the first button. You can find a beam of light and follow the beam of light from the first button to the tone hole, and that makes it very easy to do. Let's do that again. Take the pieces apart. Hold on where there are no buttons. And this time we'll start with the head joint. Pick up the head joint and the body. Attach the 2 pieces together. Line up the tone hole with the first button of the body. Now pick up the tail joint, attach it to the body, and make sure that the long rod is pointing to the middle of the tiny turtle key. Once you've done this a few times, it will be very easy for you to do and very easy for you to bring the flute in and out of its case every day that you pick up your flute to play. Are you ready to see where your fingers go? The easiest way to follow is to sit down with the flute resting on your thigh. Place your left index finger on the second button closest to the head joint. Turn the flute away from you a little and look on the back side of the rods. See the two miniature buttons? Right beside them is a two-piece mechanism which I refer to as a ball and a flatbed. I put a purple whale sticker on the ball to make it easier for you to see, and a striped fish on the flatbed. Place your left thumb on the flatbed where the striped fish is. Now turn the flute back around and look at the long row where you placed your index finger on the second button. Skip the next one and place your middle finger on the fourth one from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your left ring finger goes down next, and your left pinky goes on the floating mechanism that is attached with an extension offset from the row. That's it for the left hand. And now for the right hand. Skip the next two buttons and place your right index finger down. Add the right middle and ring fingers. If you've done this correctly, the next one will be the tiny button on the tail joint where I put the turtle sticker. This is where you place your right pinky finger. These last 9 positions move buttons up and down. However, your right thumb does not press the buttons. Instead, it goes underneath your right index finger to support the flute. Now that we have covered the basics, this is what your left hand ought to look like. And this is what your right hand ought to look like. These are your home positions. The majority of your first notes and songs will be played from these positions. As you progress in your flute playing, your fingers will occasionally move off these buttons to find auxiliary mechanisms. However, they will always return home to the buttons you learned today. Before I let you go, I want to tell you why I call the flute mechanisms buttons. I know you might be asking, because some people call them keys. Perhaps flute players got the word keys from piano players who press their keys up and down. Piano mechanisms are much more like a key, because when players put down a finger, it automatically makes a sound. The key to flute sound is not our fingers, but rather the air we are blowing, so it feels different for us. Key also means key signature, the notation that changes pitches from natural to sharp to flat. Some of my students are confused when one word is used to mean more than one thing. Just recently, I was given the best revelation from my student Gwen. We were talking about a particular fingering and she said, "Does my finger go on this button or that button?" What an insightful wow moment from a 5-year-old. I thought, that is so much more descriptive of what the mechanisms look like on the flute. They look like buttons. Why have I been calling them keys my whole life? Thanks to Gwen for giving me this way of describing where the fingers go on our instrument. I trust that the knowledge you have gained today will fuel your enthusiasm towards learning your first notes. I encourage you to practice until you can find the right buttons without looking. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please leave a comment and let me know if you went with stickers or without stickers. And happy fluting!